Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Let's go. Welcome into the stream, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. Honey's in the building. Welcome. Is it Evan? Thank you for joining in as well. Laura Lynn, welcome in. It's good to see you. How y'all feeling today? Welcome in, y'all. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Riley's in the building. My AI Records, welcome in. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping in. Is it Poppy? Thank you so much for joining as well. JX, good to see y'all in here. Y'all keep tapping the screen. Share out the live. Let me see. Don't forget to send your heart me for the day. It does really help out the stream. Give me just a couple moments here, y'all. We're going to be on for very, Hayden, appreciate you dropping in. Welcome in. Thank y'all for joining the stream, y'all. We're going to get moving here in just a couple of minutes. It is going to be a very short live today. We'll be on for 3 or 4 songs. It's going to be very short and sweet. Jamie Bryant, welcome in. Yolo, welcome in. Vega Man, welcome in as well. I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to tap the screen, share out the live with a few people. Fifi, welcome in. We'll get rolling here in just a few minutes. I'm going to try to get a few people in from yesterday, and then we'll get rolling with the consultations. Like I said, we'll be listening to probably 3 or 4 tracks today. 3 or 4 tracks today. It's going to be short and sweet. Let me just update a few things as we get rolling. Let's see. Rix is in the building. What's up, Rix? What's up? Not Romeo, welcome in as well. It's good to see y'all. I hope you're all doing fantastic today. If you like coming in for the first time, let me know where you're joining from. If you make music, let me know the kind of music that you make, or if you do something creative, let me know what you do. Like I mentioned before, we're only going to be doing about 3 or 4 songs today. 4 tops, most likely 3 or 4 songs. So if you want to get your music heard, get in quickly, especially if you already know the format of what we're doing, then of course you know where to go to get yourself on the board. I'm going to wait just 2 or 3. Is it Disco? Is it Disco or Disco? Thank you so much for joining from South Africa. Welcome in. Jonathan, welcome in as well. Welcome in as well. I appreciate you being here. Totally will, but don't get paid. Tilte, no worries at all, Romeo. We'll be on tomorrow for sure. I wrote a song and it's only a demo, and I would love to get an idea for production and songwriting. Dude, of course, Rix. Of course. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. In fact, that's like a lot of what we do. It's a lot of what we do here. Let me double check a few things here. Just got to wait for the lives to kind of kickstart on the different platforms, and then we'll get rolling. Hopefully we'll start on the music fairly quickly today. It's a higher minimum. Just keep that in mind. It is a short live today. So the minimums are going to start just a hair higher, just because it's going to be a little bit more condensed. But if you want to check the line is on the other platforms that we're live on, which of course you can see at my link. If you go to the other platforms, there's literally no arrangement yet. No, literally. I have gotten multiple. There's been a lot of times actually that people have sent in like voice memos of hummed melodies of them literally just playing acoustic guitar or piano, and then we've helped them build more structure and stuff around it. As far as like songwriting goes, like now when you already have established songwriting, it's a lot easier to like kind of figure out where to go. The difference with like kind of building a songwriting structure from scratch, that's a little bit different for me, just because that involves like points, right? Like if I'm what's up, Curtis? Welcome in. I got you. You're ready to go. That's a little bit different, just because if we're like co-writing a song, or I'm like helping you build the actual structure of your song, then there's points involved in that. You know what I mean? Like you would typically give a percentage of the song to someone who's built that structure. Now, I don't ask for that or require that in any sense when I'm just giving like production advice and stuff like that, even though like I could. I don't want to ever worry about that stuff or ever feel like that's a part of the equation in these live streams. But if we're like building a song, like if we're actually like I'm helping you write lyrics on the live, that's a little bit of a different story. And of course, I'm always open, in the future too, to actually do some collaborative songwriting and actually do some of the actually do that. Just like I do that all the time as a part of my business. It's fun. But that's kind of a different story. But I'm always happy to help build structure, help build out like the format for a song, even help sometimes with like editing of certain elements of the lyrics and things like that. But if we're like actually building it from the top, then we gotta then we gotta figure something out. Okay, let me double check a few things here. I'll give my quick spiel and then we'll hop on. Like I said, it's gonna be short and sweet today. Nathan, I've already got you. Yvonne, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. If y'all are over on TikTok, do me a huge favor. Make sure you're tapping the screen, share out the live with a few people. Don't forget your heart me for the day, Libby. I appreciate it. It does really help out the live stream. We're gonna be rolling here for just a moment. I have not. It sounds cool though. Hav, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. MTG Olive, it's good to see you in the live. I appreciate you being here. Or is it, I can't remember. Sometimes I get the name mixed up. It's like MT Go Live. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Let me get a couple things refreshed. Let me make sure that I've got, okay, so Nathan, I've got you here. Let me get this downloaded for you because we'll probably kick it off there. But just really quickly, y'all, let's go ahead and get into MTG Olive. Okay, just making sure. I was like, wait, it could technically be MT Go Live. Ton Ash, welcome in. I appreciate you being here as well. Okay, really quick, y'all, let me get into my spiel. For those of you who have never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. We're speed running today. We're getting straight into a big mind. Welcome in. We're diving straight into the details here. So I apologize if I talk fast and if I'm moving and grooving today. It's short and sweet. We got 3 or 4 songs. We're gonna dive in and then we're gonna get out of here. We just got a lot of different things we got to do. Makai, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's dive into the details. Dan, so good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing amazing. Really quick, because it's going to be short and sweet. The live's going to be about an hour and a half today, something like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. If you've never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. These are 20 to 30 minute consultations. They're really, really detailed. They are multiple listens. So every single time that a producer, an engineer, an artist, a session musician, a vocalist, a songwriter sends in their music, we spend 20 to 30 minutes listening to the song multiple times to get into the details of the mix and master, production elements, sound design, song structure, lyric and song formatting, so on and so on. This is not a quick review. There's no trash or pass. There's no ratings. There's no polls. That is not what we actually do here in the structure of this live stream. They're long form, they're detailed, they're nuanced to really get into the details of what you're doing creatively and practically within the structure of your music. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm not here to trash you. I'm not here to give you exposure. I'm not here to tear you down. Nothing like that. What's up, Lucky? Welcome back in. We're here to really get into the nuances of your music and offer practical, actionable feedback on the structure of your music. And hopefully within those 20 to 30 minutes, get into the details of what would be really helpful for you as a musician, as an artist, as a rapper, as a songwriter, whatever it may be, or as an early engineer, someone working on your own music, so on and so on. For those of you who don't know, my name's Torvik. I'm a full-time engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done that for 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained musician, pianist, been playing since I was 6 years old. Thirst, thank you for the follow. So that's the structure of the live stream. That's the bullet points. That's the quick spiel right here. So we are going to dive into the details. We're going to get really into the nuances of what you're doing and make sure that we're able to offer some professional and actionable feedback on the structure of your music. Nice vocals. I've got the Bathurst Bluetooth ones and Sennheiser HD600. Yeah, these are amazing. These are the clear MGs. They're absolutely fantastic, man. They're absolutely fantastic. I love them. Jay's in the building. This is a real good idea for a podcast to stream. Could really help young artists. Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, we've been doing these long form live stream consultations for about almost 3.5 years now. Almost 3.5 years now that we've been doing these 30-minute consultations. It's been fun. It's been a ride. Are you live every day or bi-weekly? I would say, typically speaking, I'm live probably 3 or 4 days a week. It depends a lot on my other workload. Depends on projects, depends on other work that I'm doing. So I would say usually, let's say on average, maybe 4 days a week, something like that. It really just kind of depends on the week. I feel like the last couple weeks, my weeks have been a little bit all over the place. My schedule has been a little bit more chaotic. Like even today, it's a shorter live than I was expecting, just because we got more stuff going on than anticipated. So it's always a little bit funky. Alexandra, thank you so much for tapping in. I appreciate you being here. Okay, really quick, submission. If you would like to submit your music, go to my profile, click on the link, read through and follow the details there. You'll see everything that you need, but please check the line first. The minimums are higher because it's a short live. So if you want to submit, check the line on the other platforms that we're live on. You'll see all the details there. You can find those at my link. And then, of course, if you want to submit, just go to my profile, click on the link, and then you'll see what you need there. If you're on the purple app, type !submit, and you'll see what you need. If you are on the red app, you can go to the description for the live stream, and you'll see everything that you need right there. Okay, let me see really quick. Who just sent in? I think I should be able to see the email here. So let's just double check. Actually, I don't see an email coming in yet. Let me know who sent in over through the website. Any kind of music, Odeon. Absolutely. Jolie, welcome in. Absolutely any kind of music. Okay, I'm gonna get a couple things in order here. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off with Nathan, and then let me know who just submitted through the website. I'm gonna get you on the board as well. Rix is in the building. Rix, I got you. Nathan, I have your boost as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and bump, and then we'll get you rolling here. And then Rix, I'm gonna get you up on the board. All right, let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling. Sounds good, Lucky. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's is it M? Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the rose, Libby. The line is over on either Twitch or YouTube. You can find them at my link. Okay, this is April Arrives. Let's get into a couple things here, and then Rex, I got you. I got you. I got you. Keep in mind, y'all, short and sweet today. So we're gonna be hopefully moving at a good pace, but there's literally only gonna be 3 or 4 songs. So I will close the line here fairly quickly. Okay. Okay, so this is Nathan Curtis. Nathan, they're over on the Red app right now. So I'm gonna read through some of these details here. Let's see. So I won't lie, this song was created using an AI app. I wrote 100% of the lyrics, chose the genre, etc. It's a throwback early 2000s pop punk alt rock song. I wrote about my daughter, April, who was born in November, and the journey my wife and I have been through over the last 5 years through multiple ectopic pregnancies and miscarriages. Sorry to hear that, man. Very, very, I have some personal connection with that actually I won't get too much into it, but I do appreciate your vulnerability and letting us know as well. Painful times, but now a huge upswing. Let's see. The punchline of In November Time, April Arrives. When I was writing it, I tried to keep it symbolic and relatable for anyone going through struggles, those dark, cold November times of struggle, to keep hope and remember that spring, sunshine, and April is around the corner. I'm not in a band. I'm not a musician. I can't make any royalties from it, but having been someone that has had their own battles with hope and somehow survived, this song, good enough reach to help someone else anywhere else. I'd love it. Thanks for reading. Hope you enjoy. All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for sending this in. Let me know, Nathan, if there's any way specifically you would like me to approach this breakdown. Anytime someone sends in an AI generated song that's based off of their poetry, based off their lyrics, and then kind of expanded from there. Typically, the way that I approach it is breaking down songwriting, song structure, in ways kind of in that format, because that's the most control that you're going to have over this record if you are not a musician. Now, there are people that are producers and are musicians that do use AI. Everyone has their perspective on this, but they use it like, hey, I produced all of this, but I literally just need a saxophone at the end of my song, and they generate it. Everyone's got an opinion on that. But in the case of someone that gives us more control. In the case of someone who's generating from scratch off of their lyrics and off of their like prompts for genre and stuff like that and structure, we'll mainly talk through song structure, songwriting, formatting, phrasing, cadence, stuff like that. So if that sounds good to you, let me know, and let's get into it. Let's get into it.
November sky, the leaves let go, a quiet room, a softer glow. There were dreams we had to lay before April came our way. Through every loss, through every weight, trusting love would change our fate. Even when it feels too far, love remembers who we are. Hope can ache but still survive, learn to bend and still to thrive. Even in the darkest night, love
Got you.
will always find the light. You're every prayer we couldn't say, every dawn from endless gray, sunshine after years of tries. In November time, April arrives. The falling early 5:30. It's time to go, time to arrive. Driving through the still dark night, years of pain soon out of sight. 15 minutes, then your cry. Blue eyes open to the light. 6:15, a moment new, a whole new life for us and you. 7 pounds and 7 ounces.
Okay, I'll double check in a second. Thank you so much.
Around us, in your mother's arms, you were embraced. Time stood still inside that space. So every prayer we couldn't say, every dawn from endless gray, Remember when life feels unfair. Remember this and be aware. You were wanted more than words can ever say.
I love that. I love it, Nathan.
In every way. Your every prayer we couldn't say. Every dawn from endless gray. Sunshine after years of twice in November time. April arrives. November time. April arrives.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Nathan. Nathan, I appreciate you sending this in. For one, just for the vulnerability and just the exposure of your message and what y'all went through and kind of what the song means to you. I really, really appreciate that. Y'all show some love. Show some love to Nathan right here in the chat. You can see him on YouTube. You can also see him over here on TikTok. So please show some love to the family. I appreciate you sending that in, man. Let's dive into some of the details of it here really quick. Let me double check real quick. Okay, Alexandra, I do see yours right here. Keep in mind, y'all, that it is a shorter live today, so the minimums are just 5 higher. So keep that in mind, Alexandra. I want to make sure y'all go check the line first on YouTube and Twitch. That way you can kind of see how many songs we have left, what the minimums are, so on and so on. So keep in mind, if you want to get on today, it'll just be 5 more. Let me know if you want me to hold that for you for tomorrow's live, Alexandra, or if you want to get the 5 on and we'll listen to your track today. It is going to be a shorter live today. It's a little bit more concise. So if I keep it typical, it just gets flooded and we have a ton of people that aren't able to get heard. I'm trying to mitigate that as much as possible. Okay, let me update a few things here, but y'all please show some love to Nathan. Let's dive in. Let's get into it, man. I want to dive into a couple of the elements of the lyric structure, but I also am aware that this lyric structure is very personal to you. So one of the things I don't want to do too much of is change messaging, change perspective. This is very much so your journey and very much so your perspective, and I want to make sure that that is honored in the structure of this song, so on and so on. So let's get into a couple details here. Denver's in the building. What's up, Denver? Welcome in. I appreciate you so much. And Alexandra, I got you. I appreciate you so much. Let me get you. No worries at all. No worries at all. I might have mentioned it while you hopped out for a minute to go send it. I might have mentioned it right when you were doing that. So no problem at all. I'm trying to talk about it as much as I can, even just between songs, just so people are aware. Okay, let me get you up here. Boom, got you. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Fool on a Hill, good to see you. I appreciate you tapping. And this is April Arrives by Nathan. Let's get into it. Time I welcome in.
November sky, the leaves let go. A quiet room, a softer glow. There were dreams we had to lay before April came our way. Through every loss, through every weight, trusting
That's true.
love would change
That's true.
our fate. Even when it feels too far, love remembers who we are. Hope can ache but still survive. Learn to bend and still to thrive.
Happy, welcome in. Good to see you.
The darkest night, love will always find the light. You're every prayer we couldn't.
I'm gonna back it up here. I want to listen for this pre here just for a moment here.
The darkest night, love will always find the light to thrive. Even in the darkest, verse who we are. Hope can ache but still survive. Learn to bend and still to thrive. Even in the darkest night, love will always find the light. You're every prayer we couldn't say.
I know we're because the main focus of this is breaking down song structure. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate that so much. Song structure. Ever Snow is in the building. What's up, Ever Snow? So good to see you. Hope you're doing amazing today. Breaking down song structure and formatting and stuff like that. So that's what I'm gonna chop through a couple things. This is a bit of a different breakdown for most of y'all coming in, just because we're not digging into production elements and mix and stuff like that. We're dissecting a little bit more like phrasing, perspective changes in the lyrics and stuff like that. So I'm actually going to go back and play this yeah, I got you. It's really short today, so if you want to go in, you definitely can, but I'll probably close the line after you. But I got time. I definitely have time. I'm listening to probably 3 more songs.
Hope can ache, but still survive. Love remembers who we are. Hope can ache, but still survive. Learn to bend and still to thrive. Even in the darkest night, love will always find the light. You're every prayer we
Sounds good, Snow. Sounds good. You do at least have a lot of that like initial repetition and da, 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 da. I think it's B flat major, I believe. Yeah, B flat major. Da, 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 da. F major. Da, 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 da. Like you have a really consistent like early melodic structure there, and the lyrics fit that. You get a little bit of a gap. So what you'll hear, especially with the way that you're creating the music, is this is where a lot of your editing has to come down to, especially if ever in the future you did want to get this actually sourced, you did want to actually get it done by a session vocalist and maybe given to someone who can kind of bring the full idea to a place where it can get a little bit more expansion, a little bit more exposure for what you're doing with it. That's not everyone's desire, so you can also ignore that. But if you ever did want to build it out, there's a couple things within like the phrasing that can be altered, right? Because sometimes when if you're not the musician, you're not the vocalist, understanding the phrasing and how it actually gets, interjected into like the lyrics and like becomes a lyric and becomes a part of like the rhythm of the song. Sometimes you don't know when like a line's going to end early and then it's just going to have to like hold the note for a while in order to get the next pocket of the note right there. That can be kind of challenging, right? Because you don't necessarily have the request to give it to kind of dissect that and break it down. So there's a couple little parts in here. This first melody though was really good and really consistent. The B section of the hook I want to look at just kind of briefly. And then there's I think one other lyric that I want to look at. Got you, Helios. I'm going to back it up here a little bit. Let me update the line, and then I'll be closing up here in a second. In fact, I think that's for a snow. I believe it's for a snow. I got you. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for tapping in today. I'll probably go ahead and, after I finish this song, I'll go ahead and close the line. Okay, so you have this extra line right here. Now, the way that I try to look at little sections of a song like this is like, when do these like very specific moments of a song matter the most? When you get into this, the sunshine. When you go into these holds or these, and you have like these long drawn out kind of like legato vocals right there. To me, that's something that should live really specifically in a specific moment of the song. If that is happening every hook, then I feel like it loses kind of the impact of actually having these moments where like the energy is kind of drawn out and so it's really like pocketed moment right there. To me, that's something that would be better to actually have towards the end of the song. Like maybe only on the last hook you have dun, 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 and that's how you go into the breakdown at the end of the song. But because of the way the lyrics are structured before that, I would keep this more like punchy and concise in order to like lock in that part of the structure. So as an example, for like your first 2 hooks, so let's get into this first part here. some repetition here. B section switch, I love it. November, April, right, and go straight into it, right? Like having like a little pocket, like in November, April, right, and then you go straight into the next section, little guitar solo interlude right in between the verses right there. And that feels like really like sharp and punchy. The melodics and all of the rhythms of the vocal are like really consistent, really catchy. Nothing's drawn out. You don't have any like energy loss, as opposed to at the end of every line, we have like 7 seconds of like legato, really held out vocals, right? I would love to have the, dun, you see, dun, da, 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 dun, 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 go into like the intro, first like initial pocket of the song, and you kind of go straight into there. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Go straight from structure to structure. It feels like really consistent. And I mean, as a listener to a song to this, even though I know it's a personal lyric structure, as a fan of the music itself, like it's just, that's way more punchy. It's got more drive to it. But then at the very end of the song, so let's say the first, if there's 3 hooks on the song, let's say the first 2 are dun, da, 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 is a big massive rock interlude right there. And then on the very last, you do 2 of those like that. You do a bridge, you do a solo, do whatever you want to do in the song structure. On the very last hook of the song, before you do a breakdown at the end, you would still do the and you go into the last one there, but you spread it out. It's got like a halftime breakdown. Boom. Like it's got a little bit more energy to it, but that energy lives in a very particular spot of the song, a very specific spot of the song, as opposed to it happening every single time. And if it happens every single time, it loses its impact a little bit. I would love for those lyrics to be a little bit more compartmentalized. Okay, let's, Riggs, I appreciate you so much. That's very kind of you. Okay, let me get into this last section here. And then we'll move on. So like most of, I think like the lyric structure makes sense. It's very true to the genre. I think in a lot of this more like pop punk rock stuff, like you can be a little bit looser with your melodies as long as like your rhythms are really, really connected. Like you'll hear in a lot of songs like this, the verses have a lot of versatility or a lot of variation in melody. They're not like really, really rigid. Usually I would say like the first couple lines are pretty consistent. You can float away a little bit after that. But the hook is like super clean, really, really rigid as far as like the melody structure is right there. So I would love for like that to be really consistent, and then a little bit of a change at the very last section at the end here. Okay, let's floating away. I know Snow loves the floating away. We love the floating away. The floating away is good. Just has to make sense. Just has to be purposeful of the way that you do it.
More than words can ever say. Worth the wait in
Okay, and then here, I want to talk about this hook.
Your every prayer we couldn't say.
I want this to be just a low hook. So when I hear this hook, let me see. I love this part the most too. To me, it's one. I mean, Libby likes this too. We always love like the low breakdowns in rock songs. They're so much fun. I love this part too. My desire is to match melody or do a low hook right there, because it makes it so emotional and so clean right there, like to where it feels like really concise and really beautiful and really connected right here. Because I love this low moment right here. But I still want it to feel like it's very much so a part of the song structure and very much so a part of a really consistent song. So I want to hear the hook again really quick here, really quick.
Your every prayer we couldn't say.
Like what my brain wants to hear right here is you just, build up this last. You're every breath, dun, 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 dun. And dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? Like where it's like it just goes low for a second. You're everything. Dun, dun, dun. Obviously, I don't know the lyrics. Dun, 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 dun. And then high. You're every da, 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 and like have a bunch more energy on the B section of the hook, as opposed to it feeling like we switch, like it's different melodies on the. Yeah, it's just randomly. Just I got some random shit here. The having like slightly inconsistent. Again, this is part of just the way that the music is created too. Yeah, don't talk about the synths. Thank God all of my synths are unplugged right now. This is to y'all's benefit. I'm redoing a bunch of random stuff here in the studio and switching some things around, getting new stuff in, getting old stuff out. So none of the synths are plugged in. Well, a couple of them are, but not currently speaking. So none of the synths are plugged in. So y'all are safe from me talking about DX7s and FM synthesis for the next 45 minutes. Also on a time constraint. Anyways, all of that aside, ADHD is kicking in. So back to what we're talking about here. Having slightly inconsistent melodies for the verses, slight variations in melody for the hook, the extension of the vocal at the hook at the end, then a separate bridge vocal, and then a separate hook after that. That's where it can become just inconsistent, harder to remember, harder for people to like latch onto it, and keep it in mind later on as well. So part of a little bit of what I'm listening for here is this last melody. Even if you want to make it a bridge, I would, in my opinion, I would keep it the same melody as your hook. It's like close, but it's pretty different. So it's just another melodic section that the listener has to remember. The less of that you have to do, the better. Okay, let me.
Wait in every way. Your every prayer we couldn't say.
So you. It's just a different melody, but you could switch those melodies barely. Like listen to the way they do the melody versus the original hook melody. It'll make it so much sharper, and then you just go straight into the original melody for the hook, or go straight into the original hook. You'll be locked in. Right here.
Your every prayer we couldn't say.
And you could just still have that same starting melody. Your every prayer I couldn't say. It's just a slight variation right there, but it's making it the same as what you're about to go into from the hook and the previous hooks, if that makes a little bit of sense here. Let's go to the outro really quickly, and then we'll move on. Gotta go quick. Most of the structure here I can really appreciate, though. And most of this is pretty straightforward. Yeah, so most of that, y'all show some up to Nathan. Nathan, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much for sending this in. Most of what we're talking about here is just making sure, like we talk about a lot in this live stream, making sure that all of the different elements of your structure are pointed in the same direction. Also making sure that if you have exciting moments of a production or exciting moments of like a vocal structure or vocal production, that they live in a moment to where it doesn't feel like you have given away too much information too soon, right? Like if after every single verse and chorus there's a guitar solo, then the guitar solo loses its impact a little bit. If you just start off if the whole song is a drum solo, then drum solos don't matter anymore, right? And the same thing with like some of these moments. If those drawn out half times happen every single time, or if the high note of the vocal is every single hook, then oftentimes you can kind of lose the impact of these special moments happening in the song. So those are some of those details that I would love for you to dive into a little bit and get into being kind of nitpicky about when it comes to the way that you're building your song so far, even in the event that you're not able to get session singers and stuff like that. You all show some love to Nathan. I'm so glad, man. I'm so glad. I appreciate it so much. Ali, I appreciate you being here. Welcome in. Yeah, these are, as some people have already said, these are 20 to 30 minute multiple listen consultations on the structure of people's music. So artists, producers, vocalists, songwriters, engineers, session musicians, so on and so on. They send in their music. We spend about 20 to 30 minutes breaking it down, listening to it 2 or 3 different times to really get into the nuances of it, the details of it, whether it's songwriting, mixing and mastering, production elements, sound design choices, the way you're building and formatting your song, stuff like that. We've been doing it for the last 3.5 years. It's a great space. It's an awesome community of people. Like there's no ego here. There's no people that are trying to, it's not like about showing off necessarily. It's about really just loving music and getting into the details and the nuances of the music. So they're long, they're detailed, they're super, super fun. At least for me, I like to nerd out on the music. So it is very fun for me, and hopefully fun for the people that are in here. But yeah, I'm not here to trash. There's no review. There's no trash or pass. There's no ratings. There's no polls. vocals. I'm not here to trash you and roast you. I'm also not here to like hype you up and, just, give you exposure. It's really like when we hone in, we hone in. It's about the music. It's super, super fun. Yeah, you're in the right place. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you tapping in. TDW, thank you so much for the follow, or TDWC, thank you for the follow. Also, who did I miss that followed? Ali, I appreciate it. Luke, I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for the follows. I appreciate you a lot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the line. We're short and sweet today, so we're moving at a good pace. Yes, they are paid consultations. They're about 30 minutes a piece. And everything is at my profile. If you click on the link, you'll see a submit form right there. But we are short and sweet today. So I'm already closing the line because we're going to be on, again, tomorrow. I only got time for like 3 more songs, moving pretty quickly here. So let's get into it. We got Snow in the building. We got Rix. We got Alexandra. I'll open up the line again tomorrow. So please make sure y'all are following. Make sure y'all are tapped in. Also, just stick around though, because the way that we format this is hopefully and ideally as we dig into production and like mixing details, like maybe like your vocal mix is the thing that's bothering you. Everybody wants to know about vocal mix and stuff like that. So the way that we structure this is to where hopefully everybody in the chat can still gain some information, some knowledge, and some experience, even just listening to how we break down other artists. Like a lot of people, they have an issue where like their vocals are like they're harsh and they're bright and they sound thin and they don't know why. A lot of people have that issue. So when we address it for an artist, hopefully it helps out anybody who's having that same issue with their vocal. Okay, let's get into it. We got Snow in the building. I don't know if Helios is in here. If he is, let us know. Make yourself known. But we got Eversnow in the chat. Yeah, vocal mixing is a different animal. Is a different animal. I love it. He's live right now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Heals me ground and structure my work. Thank you so much, Snow. I'm so glad to hear that. All right, updated Snow production. This is Fight for the Throne. We just heard the song a couple days ago. This production actually from Eversnow a couple days ago. So we're actually hearing an update from this song from I think like 2 or 3 days ago, something like that. So I have heard this recently. So there's certain things that we probably won't address, but we will try to look for some new information here. See what this update looks like. Already closed, Tap. We'll be live again tomorrow. So much of the amount of live I'm able to do just depends on the workload and what's happening that day. So I'm not able to, go on all the time for very, very long, but I would love to do some longer lives. It just really depends on a lot of different factors. So if I can go longer tomorrow, I'll try. There's no promises. I'll do what I can, especially with how long we take per song here. Okay, this is an updated Snow production. We love y'all. We love y'all too, Eversnow and Helios. He's live right now. Check him out later. That's the family right there. This is Fight for the Throne. This is a current version of it. Let's get it downloaded. Let's dive in. So this is a cinematic visual performance that we're looking at right here for Eversnow. Let's get it. I did a new version of my song that my hard drive died and got recovered. Okay, nice. All right, let's run it from the top. Let's run it from the top. Double on the brass hits. Harmonies coming together with the piano. I like it. That's better. That's a tighter transition there. It's time. Eversnow. Tons of tension here. In a world where snow falls, one decision will change everything. Oof, that's tough, Tep. That's tough. It's hot in the studio. What is going on here? Ricks. It's not. It's not cult at all. It's like a score. Yes, it's not. Yeah, it's not a regular song at all. Not in any way. Yeah. It's just like visual scene stuff like that. I could see it for a video game tip. I don't know if it is, but I could see that. Let's go. Y'all show some love. Big sounds. Vadis, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing. Welcome in. Imagine if a game with those only 2 minutes off for fights. Yeah, that's all we got. Like that would be the what was the vertical? Why can't I think of the name? What was the vertical like TV app or like whatever that like was it Tubi? Am I thinking of Tubi or something else? What was that platform that was like it existed for like a month and then they like crumbled. They tried to get a bunch of famous people on it and then it crumbled. That was Eversnow. Reach out. They're just starting production. They're crushing it. Y'all show some love to Eversnow. Show some love. Let's get straight into it. We're concise. We're sharp today. We're on it. Vadis, yeah, reach out, Vadis. Jasmine, welcome in. I appreciate you being here so much. Yeah, for those of you curious, this is just a score on its own here. Already way better transitioning. TZ, we are closed for today. We got 2 more songs after this, and then we're out of here, but we will be live again tomorrow for sure. I'm never positive on how long. It's usually anywhere from 2 hours to 5 hours, depending on my workload for the day. But I will be live again tomorrow, so definitely tap in. Make sure that you're following on all of the different platforms so we can make sure that you're ready to go. But let's get into it. Cameron, thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate you a lot. But we're closed for today. Fight for the Throne by Eversnow right here in the chat. Let's run it. So already way better introductions of your elements, right? Like the piano and the brass coming in together. These other transitions coming in together. Already a huge polishing of what was already there. Like I feel like it's taking more shape now. There's still the floating away. We like the floating away, but it's taking a little bit more form and a little bit more shape in a way that I'm understanding it a little bit more. And I also want to be aware of where there is like, especially with a lot of the music that you work on, Snow, intentional chaos to build a little bit of like the scene that you're building. You know what I mean? Like the perspectives that you're building and the visuals that you're wanting to elicit for people. So when there's like intentional elements of like chaos and movement, I want to keep that in mind as well, that we don't like remove that because that is something that's a part of the actual structure of your music versus over polishing and then creating a structure that is not what you're trying to create. So let's get back into it. As we always do, we're going to go back through the song. We'll chop through a couple different elements here, but already a huge improvement on realigning certain segments and realigning certain elements as they cut in and out of the mix so that they feel more intentional, they feel more concise, they feel a little bit more cohesive. That to me feels so much better already. Still some polish we can do, of course. So much better already as far as the structure of this goes. So let's get into it. Let's run it from the top. Like the double brass coming in there nice and wide as well at the same time. So you at least get these bursts of energy. You get these elements that actually come in with like life and it feels more concise, right? As opposed to everything kind of floating around and doing a whole bunch of different things all at once or all at different times rather, to where it feels just chaotic. In this sense, you're actually getting like a little bit more of a concise structure here where like the energy builds all at the same time. What's up, Derek? Derek, we'll be back tomorrow. Derek. I appreciate you tapping in. Got my song distributed to 8 listeners monthly, so I'm very happy. Anima, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you, Anima. Welcome. Congrats on the release as well. I think that's fantastic. Let's back it up. I want to hear this introduction here as well. I have 10 years experience, but never going to charge anyone. Yeah, you can do literally whatever you want. Yeah. quite literally do anything that you want, and everyone else should do the same. So once that third, the B right here, right? So all the way back down. Once it settles to like the G major, and then moves from there, and it settles on the B. So the B gives you the third on that low G that hits right there. Once that settles kind of to Colt's point, kind of to Colt's point there, right? That when it hits that low element right there, and then the third comes in, I think it's on the other brass on the right side and the piano, it settles in a really beautiful way, right? Because all of a sudden there's like some glue to kind of attach it. That is where a pad like Colt is talking about, that I feel like really helps kind of glue everything together. When this hits this low element, it really, really connects everything that's happening right there. This like low octave. It helps follow the progression a little bit more there. I would love a little bit more of that. But then the bass leaves. Strings and brass coming together again. So these early moments right here, I would love, you don't have to do this because scoring is interesting. Scoring is an interesting world where you can float around a little bit more and it doesn't have to be like this repeats itself in any way. I will say that every great score I've heard still has some, not all, but like some elements of structure to it, right? Look at Klaus Badelt, look at like Hans Zimmer, like look at some of these people that are just really, I mean, there's a lot of great ones. Look at like Light of the Seven, I forget who scores that one. I used to follow them really closely, but the one who scored a lot of the Game of Thrones series. In that world, like this kind of, fantasy world of like really dramatic cinematic pieces and scores, there's still an element of like, I mean, there's a reason why we all know, like, there's a reason why we know that melody, and it's because it's in a structure of a song that has that in some level of like repetition and structure, right? Where it might even change keys. There might be some random slow part of like the fifth movie of Pirates of the Caribbean, and you'll still hear this. And it's some random scene 4 movies from now, 20 years later. Okay, beautiful. So, like it's those elements of like kind of like recognizable, and not just repetition, because there might be some repeating elements, but how the repeating elements, this is kind of hard to explain, I feel like, but how some of those repeating elements actually present themselves in the song. If there's too many other, there's so many, I mean, the Batman series, there's so many that have some of these repeated structures. How they present themselves in a mix might not be recognizable because there's so many different parts that happen, right? Even though you're starting and stopping some of these elements a bit more consistently, that's already a massive improvement on my end here. I'm loving what I'm hearing. Like when the brass and everything and the strings coming together, I'm like, it wakes up the whole mix, feels way more concise. Some of those melodies that you have in there, here might be a better question. I'm going to cut through everything here really quick and just bulldoze through what I was just saying. So I'm sorry, ignore that. What do you want this song to be known for? Okay, like when you think of like the Interstellar or like Time from Inception, Hans Zimmer, the Go. Time, look, the Interstellar tracks, the Batman series, Klaus Badelt, who did the first Pirates of the Caribbean. You listen to some of these tracks. Ramin, who's a legend, he's amazing. I think he's fantastic. You listen to some of these scores, and they're known for something. license and dollars. Yeah, but you'll never get there, Tep, if it's not recognizable, right? So how do you want, like, what do you want it to be known for? And part of that, Vadis, is what does it make you feel? It makes you feel a certain thing, but those feelings are attributed to sonics, right? The reason why you feel certain things in these scores that we all love is because of something that happened in the sonics and the way that it was formatted. A particular melody, maybe it's a super low cello, low brass with this beautiful high piano melody, but what was that piano melody? Most of us can recognize it. We can, when it comes on, we know exactly what we're listening to, right? So I want a little bit of that's like a question. I don't know what the answer is necessarily in this particular production here, this particular score, but I want you to ask yourself that question and be like, okay, what is the theme of this song, The Fight for the Throne? I can kind of get the visuals from there, Fight for the Throne. What is kind of the theme, and what piece of this do I want to be like representative of that? Does that make sense? Like what do I want to kind of represent the song? Is it a particular melody that presents itself, and how it presents itself needs to be somewhat consistent. So I'm gonna back it up here for a second, really, really quick. I'm gonna listen for melody. There's a lot of chord movement that we've talked about. I'm gonna listen for melody. These are heavy. This is chordal. So, you have a little bit of that in there. That could be a part of the theme kind of in there. I'm going to listen a little bit more. It goes up. It starts doing some octaves there with the high brass and stuff like that. But to me, this, I'm going to go a little farther. This is based on things like historical events, War of the Rose. Yep, okay. I like it. You almost do it there, right? So you have this little, I'm gonna switch piano because this is a little bit of a darker piano here, right? So this kind of, head and thank you for the follow. Wall Studio, thank you for the follow as well. So you have this kind of, happens a little bit earlier with the brass when it first comes in. So let's listen for that. So like that, I would use that as a theme here. Like imagine if this becomes kind of the tension, love it. Like if that becomes a little bit of like the theme, again, what's like the recognizable little piece of this puzzle here between the brass and the heaviness and the piano coming in and da-da-da-da-da, right? It has all this other energy to it. Now, this is a dark piano, but I'm listening to the piano lines that come in where they almost get there, but then they don't quite. They just do this G once and then all these. They have all these extra little movements in it. I'm curious what this would sound like is as we get a little bit deeper into here, we had some more consistent elements that I can recognize. You know what I mean? Like if I were to just have a cinematic score playlist on and I'm going through a bunch of different things, how would I know this track versus any other track, especially if you're someone who listens to a lot of music or you have stuff in like passive playlists, that this is Ever Snow and it is this song, it's attributed to this scene. Like that's the questions. I'm not necessarily giving you the answer because the creative side's up to you, but that's the question I want you to ask is like, how will someone know of all the, 12,900,482, scores that are out there on random platforms and stuff like that? How can I make this more recognizable? Still sounds cool, still has cool dynamics, like all the things that you've made more concise. Love it. Huge step forward. Now I need this to, whether it's like simplifying certain parts to bias towards that melody that you have. Again, that's your melody that's already in there with the brass and some of the piano. How do I make this recognizable where it comes on and any listener goes like, oh yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks, Fight for the Throne by Ever Snow. I know it, right? Whether it's like you start here, and then the brass comes in. When it starts doing stuff like that, we're like, I'm going to back it up here just a little bit. I'm going to go to my other piano so it's a little bit stronger here. I'm going to back it up a little bit. Hear how that becomes like a little bit of a moment following that melody. Like you do it on the piano and then you bump it and it does it a little bit on the brass right there. And then you maybe lay away for a little bit and then you move into a different moment of the song, a different, phase here in a different segment. But then you come back into another moment. The piano goes low here. However you structure that, right? Break it down here, simplify. Maybe we'll go up an octave here. However you find a way to be, thank you, I appreciate it, Explorer. You find a way in the background right there that it gives you just a little bit of it scratches that itch a little bit of just having a little bit of that moment in here. I'm like, oh, now I know it. I get it. I get this song. Like, again, listen to any score that you like. Listen to any score that you like, and it'll give you these themes that you follow per track, per scene that is represented. Cole, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it. And I think the more that you can mold this track so it still has the free flowing introductions of elements that you like. Again, it's your song, it's your creativity. Honor the things that you like creatively in the way that you're producing, but still give people something to latch on to, where it's like, I need something recognizable. I need something that's really consistent to where when people listen to it, they know exactly what they're hearing and they'll want to hear it again. That little melody that in this case is just the BDE will be so ingrained in the same way that like that, or the whatever, like those different I don't even remember the melody, but like those melodies that we know and love about all the scores that we enjoy, they're ingrained in us. And as soon as we hear them, like, oh my gosh, I know the song, I know the scene that is attributed to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like as soon as we hear, some of the, Interstellar is my favorite movie. So like when I hear parts of the score from Interstellar, it's like I'm back there. I'm like, and for one, that theme it happens like 15 times in the movie, if not like more. It's like in the background of everything. So when you have like the cornfields and stuff like that, and you have like these themes that happen throughout the structure of a movie score, it puts you back in that place. So how can you create that within your own music? This is like, honestly, it's like the same for pop stuff. It's like a hook. It's the hook of a pop song. It's the same thing of these like melody repetitions that happen in scores that give an identity to these moments in a song that are so they just lock you in. It's something that's immediately recognizable. Stuff that's too clean, I shut up because I've heard it before. I've never heard on scores is maybe adding a flanger or chorus on the instruments. Maybe, yeah, that's more stylistic. I think that depends on like what you're trying to, that's like stylistic. All right. Again, here you have a few, again, more on the practical side here, you have a few competing bass melodies. And it's a low, or there's like a low bass melody that's happening with the piano, competing with, thank you for the rose, Philip, I appreciate it, competing with the low brass, doing a different low melody right there. They're competing for kind of the same space. So keep in mind, again, as we've talked about, keep in mind what bass elements are there, what they're doing, and make sure they're not competing for the same space. It's just, levels, I guess, can pull back, but it's just you have, I can't play two instruments at the same time here, but you just kind of, you have like two competing bass lines and they're kind of working at the same time, doing different things, but they're both bass elements that would typically like dictate your progression. That would like tell the chords where to go, right? They would kind of be directing traffic a little bit in your song. And so like imagine an intersection where you have 3 or 4 elements directing traffic in different ways. It's going to be a little bit of a crash in the middle of that, right? A couple things might get through. A couple people might be able to weave through that a little bit. But if there's a couple different things directing traffic and directing your progression, then you're going to have some accidents in the middle of that. And that's what's happening. Some of those clashes of frequency, those clashes of chords are happening because there's multiple bass lines happening at the same time doing several different things. So I would either, like, if you're going to do this like low on the piano, don't have any low-end brass element doing something different. Either mirror back and forth, but you got to kind of let off in between, but you got to be careful that it doesn't get too chaotic, right? So again, a couple things, just get your wheels spinning a little bit there. But the biggest things, let me get the outro here really quick. Biggest things for me is I want a recognizable element of this the song structure, right? I want to be able to know when I start the song, what am I about to hear and why do I enjoy it? Like what part of this am I drawn to? So I want it to be identifiable in some way. And a little bit more concise with some of these bass lines. There's sometimes where it's like low strings, low brass, and low piano, maybe even a bass occasionally in there. I don't think there really is too much, but multiple traffic directors. You know what I'm saying? So I would clean that up a little bit to where you're like, okay, for this part of the song, the low piano is doing all of the work. It's doing the heavy lifting. It's going to be doing the vast majority of the directing here. And then maybe on a different section of the song, I'm going to switch to something else. But those to me are like the two things where I'm like, I want a little bit cleaner progression, direction, and a little bit more recognizable melody that is consistent in the song in certain parts. And I think to me that's kind of the biggest thing that I'm looking for here. Huge improvement already, though. So I do want to call that out. Huge improvement already with the structure of where you're introducing those elements, transitioning those elements. Way better already. I'm so glad, Snow. Thank you so much. You hear the piano and the brass. There's the brass. Kind of doing two different things at the same time. Everything cuts at the same time. Good let off right there. Like, again, huge improvement on lining up these elements so that they feel a little bit more concise. They feel a little bit like they're directed a little bit better. So much better. So much better. Y'all, please show some love to the family Eversnow. You know we love and adore y'all. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for sending this in. Thank you so much for just your vulnerability in this process. For those of you who don't know, Eversnow has not been producing for very long. Has not. She's been working as an artist and as a songwriter and as a poet for a long time now, or for, I would say, a couple years now, or some of that for much longer, but is fairly new to producing, much less producing like cinematic scores. So the amount some started producing last July, less than a year. And so I cannot tell you how proud I am of the amount of time and effort you've put into what you are doing and the way that you're building them out. And even just going through the process of gaining some like honing, you know what I mean? Like the process that you're going through of like, okay, I'm getting all these ideas out and then kind of editing and molding and polishing. I'm so proud of the work because to be honest with you, I'm having worked with a lot of people. No, not everyone is like willing to do that. Not everyone is willing to just like, put their stuff out there and hone and take even just other opinions that are not your creative opinions, creative opinions. You know what I mean? Like that's a vulnerable thing to do. That is not an easy thing to do. So I respect it so much. Props and flowers to you. I appreciate you so much. Now, shout out to Helios as well. Like I said the other day, they're the family. They're the family. So if you see Helios live, go drop into his live, send him a bunch of money, send him a bunch of gifts and galaxies and stuff like that. We love them. Show them some love and support as well. Snow and Rage of Helios. We love y'all so much. All right, let's get into these next one here. Next one here is really quick. Let me see. All right, we're closing up here pretty quick. We got Rick's in the building. Rick's, hop in the chat. We're moving. Last two songs, and then we're out of here. I wrote the song on the weekend while I was sick. I think this has potential and would love ideas for arrangement and feedback on songwriting. Let's get it. Sounds good. Sounds good. It sounds good. I appreciate you so much, Eversnow. Love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. All right, we got Rick's in the building. Adam DDD just started writing music. At times I feel energized and I feel like there's no way I'll make it. Well, that's the world of the creative, man. The world of the creative is very much so like that, where sometimes, I think here's the thing that I feel like I recognize, and we'll jump straight into the song, is if you are looking for inspiration in the same way constantly, you will constantly feel a lack of inspiration when that source changes. Does that make sense? So what I do, whether I am energized or not energized, or I am motivated or not motivated, whether I feel inspired or uninspired, like the inspiration source has just changed. And I need to not look like, if I come into the studio, I come into like a songwriting session or a production session or just like a session, musician session, and I'm looking for like, and I'm constantly looking for the hype and like the gold and like what great idea do I have today? Then I'm probably not going to come up with that idea if I don't have like the current inspiration to execute that lane, right? But if I'm like, dude, I'm unmotivated, like so much, like a lot of the time we're like, dude, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, my brain hurts, I am constantly figuring out and thinking of a million things. That right there in that circumstance can be the very source and inspiration you need to write something about that or through that, that's relatable to someone, that connects to someone, so on and so on. And same with the music side, right? Like if you're like, dude, I have no energy to like build this crazy production, then there's some songs out there that have billions of streams that are like 3 tracks. They're like a Rhodes, a synth pad with some automation and like one other little glue thing in the background, a little arpeggio that hits after the bridge. Like, then don't put on the pressure that you have to execute at like some inspiration you had 4 months ago. Just execute with what's in front of you, with the emotional capacity that you have in front of you, and let that live in its own space. And you might find out that like some of those moments are some of the moments that are actually like the most inspirational to you and actually come with like the best product sometimes. I feel like some of my like best writing has not come from like, here's this phenomenal genius idea of a song that I had. Sometimes it's like I'm stuck in traffic and I'm like frustrated about something, or frustrated about like a friendship or some like economic situation that's really is giving me a lot of anxiety or whatever it may be. And in those moments of just living and experiencing life, ideas pop out from it, and the ability to translate to lyrics is just a tool thing. It's just having the tools to do it, right? So anyways, all of that being said, that's kind of what I'm the way that I approach that. It's like I don't really believe in writer's block. I just believe most people are looking for inspiration in the wrong place and don't have the tools to translate it. That to me is kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, let's get into it. I was here and you said you were going to play my song, and I sent you did you send credit? And let me double check. Double check. I wouldn't have said that I'm going to play your song if you didn't send if you didn't send in the whole thing. I would say I'll be live again and we'll get to more people's songs today. Let me see. I'll double check a few things here really quick. I don't think I have a submission from you. I think I might have an email. Okay, I gotta keep it rolling. Okay, Rick's. All right, let's get into it. Already read Rick's thing. Rick's, I just want to make sure that you're in the chat. Rick's, let me know. There's Rick's. I see Rick's. Okay, let's get it. Let me get this downloaded really quick. All right, we got 2 songs, y'all. I gotta move quick. I'm out of here in like 45 minutes. So this is downloading. Let's give it a second. Yeah. What's up, Jenna? Welcome in. Come on. Download. There we go. All right, this is Ghost by Rick's. Let's get it. Sorry for the ASMR. Any style.
3 months and 22 days. It's the first time I feel like myself again. 3 months and 22
Remind me really quick what your recording situation looks like.
What I crave is love. Is somebody that can close my void, but not a touch, not a shot, not a battlefield after war. And it's you. Your ghost is haunting me, and it's you. Your words have killed me. I'm losing my mind, me, myself, and I. On the battlefield that is my life, there's no second chance. And no
I like the chromatic walk. That's nice.
To lose the ghost that is haunting me.
Okay, cool.
Your ghost is haunting me.
Yeah, early demo. Early demo.
4 months, countless trips to the bar, ripped shirts, lost worth, and I'm maxed on my cards. 4 months and a broken hand. I'm learning how to listen to my body again. Another pump, another smile, and I finally can see myself in the mirror again. But it hurts to see the battlefield after war. Still it's you. Your ghost is haunting me.
That's a good melody.
And it's you. Your words kill me, and I'm
Harmonies would be great.
mind, me, myself, and I. On the battlefield that is my life. Your ghost is haunting me.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love. Let's show some love. Show some love. That is Ghost by Rix right here in the chat. Keep in mind, this is an early demo. Just recorded quickly to get the kind of the scratch vocals and the demo out. So we're going to talk about structure, melodic structure, and see how we can build this out a little bit. For one, is it Truth? Is the 7 to T? Truth, I believe, or True 7H. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. Let's run it from the top. Let's dive into some of the details here. I like the idea of keeping this really stripped down. Even still, just like piano or Rhodes, like I'll move to a darker piano here for a second. In this case, it's G major. So just having this, right? Just like simple and dark, you know. Like that feels like warm. It feels simple. It feels easy. And that allows you to kind of build up from there without having to do too much, right? Maybe bring in a cello on the second verse, but structurally it's just like piano and a drone pad for the first part of the song. The first hook is right there. And then maybe second verse or first hook, you can add in a little bit, like a low cello line or a drone pad or something like that. It's this right here. I got you. It's the Earth Piano by Roland. Yeah, no drums, no drums. I wouldn't do any drums in the song. This is the piano. It's the felt piano. It's an upright. It's just really super warm. The one that I typically use on here, I'll switch over to so you can see it, is from I think Universal Audio. Yeah, this Ravel here. It won't. Logic won't have it. Thank you for the 10,000 likes. I appreciate y'all so much. Logic won't have it. It's just a plugin you can buy. I have the Roland subscription. It's called Roland Cloud. It's $20 a month, and it has all of Roland's stuff. So it has all of their drum machines. It has all of their synths. So if you like the Junos and Jupiters and all the SRX series stuff, all of the upright pianos and grand pianos here, there's a bunch of stuff here. Like there's all of these, all of these different pianos you can choose from. And you can also save your own presets on there once you like dial some stuff in, because you can design, like, is the lid open? Is there cabinet resonance? Is there, the key off noise when you're lifting the hammer and lifting the key and stuff like that? Like, it gives you a lot of control, which is one of the reasons why I really like it. I love a bridge. See, I'm moving into, like, I'm really enjoying longer songs now. By longer, I mean like 3.5 minutes. I'm not talking like, it doesn't have to be 7 minutes long. I'm just enjoying lately, like, real music that ebbs and flows and changes and has interesting components to it. So I'm a big fan nowadays. I love the 80s, as y'all all know. I say this 50 times a day. I love the 80s. And by default of loving the 80s, I like a lot of, I love key changes and modulations and transpositions here. I love it. Like all of a sudden the whole song slows down and all of a sudden we go to a bridge and then it's a drum solo. I love that the song feels alive and it feels interesting. So if the whole song is, that's both pianos playing at the same time. Whoops. If this is like quantized, thank you for the rose, Alexandra, I appreciate it. If this is like quantized, is doing the same thing the whole time and nothing ever moves, then it just feels dry and it feels, it feels boring. So in my opinion, I love a good bridge, and it can be really simple too. It can be really, it can be really simple too. So let's run it from the top. We'll talk about a couple things. We'll breeze through it because I got to move quick. So that's the wrong song. Let's not do that. Let's do this. This is also a little bit higher, right? So we're kind of, more. Don't do that. It's a little bit higher here. I like the idea, especially if this becomes one of your main instruments, being down here. Just like super soft and even. And you do a little chromatic walk in there. Another note, I would save the chromatic walk. Don't do it every time. Maybe do it like only on your ending lines. Again, same thing we're talking about some of the other moments in some of the other songs. What little moments can we introduce here that live in their own space, right? So if it's chromatic every time and it's weird every time, then it loses the weirdness, right? It's like, if everyone's super, no one will be, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Corny, whatever analogy there. But it's kind of the same thing. If like every single time you do the weird thing or every single time you're doing this interesting element of a song, sometimes it loses the fact that it's interesting and, ironic in any way, right? It loses a little bit of its power and impact in there. So I would just give it a moment. So maybe most of it is here. Like every other time, right? Like if every other time in the intro, including or starting in the hook. I think throughout the whole song, there's some other progression changes, but I think through the whole song, when you're going to do like a chromatic walk like that, it has more impact doing it like every other progression or every other four measures, as opposed to every single time that you walk up from the D to the E minor and you do the chromatic off the D sharp right there. Then it loses its impact a little bit. So I would do it like every other time. So, boom, strict, and then right, that gives you a little bit of edge every other time, but it's not too consistent. Okay, let's keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it rolling. Thank you for the follows, y'all. Appreciate it.
It's the first time I feel like myself again. 3 months.
It's like leave that straight.
Days since my spirit has thrown my body away, and what I crave is love. Is somebody that can close
I like the progression change.
Void, but not a touch, not a shot, not a battlefield after war.
There's some cool progressions and changes in here, which is why I'm like, okay, if you have a walk every time you do it to the D to the E minor, you have a change in your pre-chorus right here. Another like if it's too many shifts and too many energy shifts and progression shifts, it'll lose its meaning a little bit. So just be really intentional with when and why you change progressions and change chords there.
And it's you.
Beautiful. Again, right here, I do like the introduction of a cello. I don't mind that one bit. I would just have the piano like an octave or two lower, because again, right now we're kind of, it's a little bit higher up here. I would, I like it a little bit more, It's a little bit warmer, right? Just going down 2 octaves. So keep that in mind. I would keep the piano a little bit lower as like the main element kind of driving the song, and then the cello can kind of fill in those gaps a little bit. I do like it coming in on the hook right here, so I think that's a great part of the structure.
Your ghost is haunting me, and it's you.
So right there, you see it walks. I wouldn't walk there.
Your words have killed
I'll do it here.
me. I'm losing my mind.
See, so like then you have that's strict. And you have like a shift, and there's some energy right there that leads into like the B section of your hook. That to me is like more inspired. That the chromatic transition right there, that like accidental on the D sharp, that actually like offers you some tension that leads you into the next section of the song where you do change some of the structure there. So I would just do it every other time here.
Myself and I on the battlefield that is my life. There's no second chance. I know how.
Same thing there. Leave it dry.
To lose the ghost that is haunting me. Your ghost is haunting me.
Nothing wrong with that punchline. Like, you know, the ending lyric there I think is pretty strong. You have some good lyrics in here. Obviously, some polish can be made, but like this is an early demo. I want to mainly talk about structure. You can always retrack and mix and whatever and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as like the actual vocal, there's a lot of potential in kind of the bones of this vocal structure here.
For months, colors strips to the bar, ripped shirts, lost worth, and a mess on my cards. For months and a broken hand, I'm learning how to listen to my body again. Another pump, another smile, and I finally can see myself in the mirror again. But it hurts to see the battlefield after war. Still it's you.
One of the only things that I'm like noticing, that I'm just aware of, how you address this obviously is up to you, but one of the things that I'm aware of is there's a lot of vocal structure. So it's not that even necessarily do as a another pump meaning Jim. But yeah. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, there's some things. So one of the things that I'm listening for is there's just a lot of lyric structure. I do have an intuition that this will just be a hard song to learn. Like it's like there's a lot of lyric structure here, and then that's one verse, and then you have a second verse, maybe adding a bridge. It gets a little bit tough to, and it's not like it's not that you can't do that and that doesn't exist out there in the industry, but I think it can be challenging. It can be challenging, especially when you're trying to break out. It can be challenging to have a song like that has a really, really drawn out lyric structure like that. So I think there's some moments here. I'm gonna let it play out because it's short. It's short right now. Yeah, for the listener.
And it's you.
The hook I think is fine. I think the hook is fine. That's no ghost is haunting me. That feels really smooth. That feels a little bit more open. It's slower, obviously, so it makes it a little bit more palatable as far as like learning those melodies. So I think that's fine. The verses in the pre getting there multiple times through the song, I think is where it's going to be challenging. So let me hear this first verse here really quick.
3 months and 22 days. It's the first time I feel like myself.
So like, I think a lot of it is even just the syllable counts often. Dun 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 dun. There's a lot of like quick syllable counts. For one, it can make the lyrics feel interesting sometimes when you're filling every gap with a syllable, as opposed to allowing like a melody to sit a little bit more. Let me see. I'm gonna back it up.
3 months and 22 days. It's the
Let's see. 3 months, 8 days. Like what? Like I'm looking for not even necessarily like alliteration, but how can you take what is like the exact thing you experience or whatever, and make this feel a little bit more palatable to listen to and easier, right? It's like what instead of 3 months and 22, 3 months and 22 days, I had a soul on a chase and on a face, and I said, like where again, it's like constant buildup right there, constant vocal structure. What if you just went 3 months, 3 days, I can never change the look on my face. One night, both done, I saw the never in the face. I can always this time. I've been this line. I've been one way, don't wanna, it's true. As I wanna goes to you, it's true. You hear like, man, like how much like more, that's for me at least, listening to the song for the first time, that's like way more palatable. That's way more palatable, where it's just like 3 months, 3 days. You have never seen a look on my face. It was one night, your place. Hold on to sudden race. I keep on we this time. I've been on with days. It's nice. Always. And I'm just like cutting out half the syllables right there. Like for your first, like I'm still doing it. It's like your ending lines have more of that rhythm structure that you already have in there. But like the first half of each of these lines is way slower. It's way lighter. It's way more open. There's more space. That also means it's going to be way easier to remember, way simpler lyric structure. And you can get the same, if you're creative with your lyrics, if you're good at structuring your lyrics, you can get the same point across, right? So instead of saying like you said before, 3 months and 20, I want to hear that. I want to hear that first lyric. So let me hear it really quick and I'll give you a last idea and then we'll move on to the end.
3 months and 22 days. It's the first time I feel like myself again.
So, that you can take that core of 3 months and 22 days is the first time I'm feeling like myself again. You can take that run on that we have right there and still get the point across of after this amount of time. It can be any amount of time. After this amount of time, I'm feeling like myself again. So you can still, I'll butcher this, but let's see. 3 months, 3 days. I'm feeling like myself again. It was one time, your place. I can never, never forget the look on your face. And we're all night into night. You change the lyric and melody structure right there a little bit. However you want to do that, right? You can get the same point across by manipulating your lyrics, manipulating your syllable counts a little bit right there. And the song settles a lot. Because right now you have this pre-chorus same. Yeah, I think for most of it, because it's a lot of the same lyric rhythms on your pre as on the verses as well. Now, you can shift that. If you find a way to build the production and like your vocal layers in a way that it makes sense on the pre-chorus to have some of that energy there, run with it, right? Again, these are not rules. There's a lot of different ways to create your music that people will love and enjoy. I'm just getting a gut reaction to it. Gut reaction to it is like, that's just a lot going on. It's going to be just difficult to remember. So it's not even that it sounds horrible or something. It's going to be really challenging for people to remember it and for it to feel like it settles well, where they can hear the lyrics, experience them, make them their own story. You know what I mean? That's what you want. You want people to be able to translate these lyrics and imprint them onto their own experience in life. And so if that's the case, that's, I want to make sure that there's even just time for that to happen. So I think slowing down, less syllables, what you have here is good consistency. So I still want the same consistency, the same repetition that you have. I think that's fantastic. Hook is really good. All of that stuff. Keep that same repetition and consistency, but simplify a little bit, slow down a little bit, and see if you can't open the song up a little bit. Okay, that to me is copy and paste over the whole song. So let me get to the outro really quick. But for me, I wouldn't go much farther than piano, maybe a pad, some strings, and a couple little, you know what I mean, a little in the background. You can have some really low filtered thuds to start your hook. You know what I mean? Just a little that start every one of your hooks way in the background with a shit ton of reverb. That right there is one easy way to just transition without percussion. You just have little booms that kind of transition some of these low elements right there. And strings only in the final chorus, right? Let me hear the final chorus.
And it's you.
It depends on where you want to go, because right now it's really short. If you do end up doing a bridge or a what you can even just do is a low hook, high hook, where you go down. It's true. It's true. You know what I mean? You can push in a way by doing a low hook, high hook, or something like that. So it depends on how you want to structure it. Right now it's a 2 minute and 18-second song. It's short, with an intro and outro. So it's a short song. So I think there is space for you to do a bridge or a third verse or a low hook and then a high hook at the end. So it just depends on if you want to build up, put like a low bass in there with the strings and the piano to make it feel really broad and impactful in the last chorus, or do you want to simplify and cut down to where the last hook is literally just like a high piano. Ghost of you, and you just like let it run from there. Like, that's up to taste. That's up to taste. You also some love to Ricks. Ricks, love and appreciate what you do. I think you're awesome. I think you're doing some really cool stuff. I think you have really good intuition as far as like building your lyric structure, building your song formatting and stuff like that. You do have some great progression changes in here, some really great elements of this. So for me, and I know this is an early demo, so congrats on that. It's a lot of great structure here. What I'm kind of looking for now is how do we mold this? How do we make it a little bit more palatable to the listener? Maybe simplified and more concise and more direct in some ways, and then manipulating your lyrics to kind of match that. And then also same on the production side, right? Where you don't do the walk-ups every time, you don't do the chromatic notes every time, but you do them in a space where you're transitioning the energy so it builds a little bit and it adds tension. It makes it a little bit more impactful. But y'all, please show some love to the family. Ricks, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for sending this in. I really, really appreciate that. Shout out to Ricks. Make sure every single one of y'all are following Ricks right here in the chat as well. Alexandra, hop in the chat really quick. You're going to close us out. I got to move quick. I'm going to go straight into it. This is our last one here. This was the first ever song we recorded in the studio. Any advice appreciated? Let's go. This is my band's first single. I'd like your take on it. I'm the lead singer and it's alt. Let's get it. I've got the YouTube video here. So let me pull this up. This is Interceed let me see. I gotta see. Interceed, I think, is the band name. Interceed is the band name. And then Pretend, I believe, is the song name. I sing. My husband plays guitar. My brother-in-law is the drummer. Beautiful. I love it. Yeah. Any other details you want me to know as far as production, instrumentation, mix, things like that, let me know. And I'm assuming this is out. Since it's a topic page, I'm assuming it's independently distributed and it's out on all platforms. But this is Pretend by Interceed. Let's get it. Good fry.
But I've lived in a home half empty. Echoes were loud in my room, and I still hold on to memories, 'cause it's all I have left of you.
Love how raw this is.
Left of you.
Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
And as I wake up, I wanna get out of my head, but I'm so tired. Can we please play pretend?
Hey, thank you for the rose and thank you for the harmony as well. I appreciate that a lot.
Shall I please play pretend?
Great fry screen. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, good to see you, George. I appreciate you tapping in. Good to see you.
Please play pretend.
I appreciate the gifts.
Will we please play
Who mixed this?
pretend? Shall I please play pretend?
Texas? Are y'all in San Antonio, Alexandra? So are we. Shout out to 210. Shout out to the 210. Go Spurs, go. Y'all, show some love. Show some love. Show some love. That is Pretend by Interceed. Let's get into it. Let's run it from the top. Yeah, it's not too often that we get people in San Antonio. That's awesome. Okay, let's dive into the details. Let's run this from the top. Let's get into some of the nuance here, and let me double check a few things here as we're getting it rolling here, and then we're gonna hop off of here in just a little bit. Shout out to Alexandra for sending this in. I appreciate you so much. That was Pretend by Interceed. It is out on all platforms, so go show it some love and support. Go like the track. Go follow on Spotify. Go run up the numbers. Go add it to your playlist. All of that fun stuff. Go show them some love and support. Go boost their algorithm, as we always say. We play Thirsty Camel July 18th. Hell yeah. Amazing. God, I got as you well know in San Antonio, the humidity just makes the bugs insane here. Okay, y'all show some love to Alexandra. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Let's run it from the top. Okay, one of the few little details I want to get into here. One of the things that I'm hearing now, your vocal, I think, is awesome. So I want to start there. I think your vocal is awesome. The mix on your vocal, I really like. So it's really clean, it's clear, it's shining right over the top of the mix. There's a lot that I'm really enjoying about the way that your vocal is presented in the mix. I think your transitions from like clean mix voice to like a low guttural fry scream is really raw. It's really energetic. I'm absolutely loving the way that is happening in the song. The structure of the song, I also don't mind. You do get a little bit of this. I think Doris mentioned 90s. Yeah, I get this kind of 90s. Some of the halftime stuff feels a little 90s, shoegazy, and I like it. Like, it feels really raw, really organic with the cranked snare. Like, it's got a lot of things that I'm really enjoying about this. On the percussion side, also the double track on the guitars feels really, really energetic. Love it. Great double track, great tone on the guitar. On the percussion side, you're getting a little bit of, I'm not sure if it's like clipping at the mic pre for the overheads, maybe. The engineers in it. Yeah, so that's a little bit of, I think, what I'm going to get into. What I love, so that's the vibe. If the vibe is this kind of raw, almost like untouched raw, but then super like anthemic, reverberated sound that is typical of a lot of like, 90s grunge rock and like garage band shoegaze stuff that I love about the 90s, and like early 2000s, mid 90s, stuff like that. If that's what you're going for, on the percussion side, we're getting a really, really like clipped and squashed drum where I'm going to play it early on. You're going to hear this kind of this almost like hiss that's happening in the drums. It sounds like to me that those overheads are clipping pretty bad, whether they're clipping digitally in the DAW or they're hitting like a preamp of an interface or an actual preamp outboard, and that's clipping, or they just squashed those overheads with the compressor. Nothing wrong with that. It's a stylistic choice, but squash the overheads with the compressor. But anytime like the cymbals come in and then they move to like the bell of the ride, I think you said it's your brother-in-law, right? Or something like that. They move to like the bell of the ride. You get this kind of like piercing hiss in there. It feels a bit clipped, it feels a little bit oversaturated there, and then it feels like it gets really suppressed. So the drums lose a little bit of life. Now your vocal, again, I think your vocal is really clean and it's really clear. So I love the way that exists in the mix. Fairly dry, but I don't mind that. I think the guitars are pretty heavy. They have a lot of great energy to it. But then on the drum side, it feels very, very squashed down and clipped. So I'm going to listen to it. We'll go back through a couple little elements here, but that's what I'm curious about. I'm kind of curious about, I would love for those drums, again, thinking 90s, thinking shoegaze, thinking some like really raw, organic, grungy rock. How can we just allow these elements to like feel like they can breathe and they feel like they sound big and they sound impactful, but they all work together really well. That's kind of what I want to listen for here. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Okay. And y'all, thank y'all for tapping in. I appreciate y'all being here. We are closed. This is our final track of the night. We'll be live again tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you're following, make sure you're tapped in. We'll open up the line to a bunch of other songs tomorrow. Thanks for tapping in. Thank you for the follow, D. I appreciate you so much. All right. Let's run it from the top. Like, this tone is great. No complaints. I want to say too, like, it is, and this is just kind of a funny thing, but like, it is a little bit out of tune, and it happens towards, like, as the song goes on, there's like really heavy open playing on the guitar and it gets a little bit out of tune. I actually don't mind that. I actually, again, it feels raw, it feels organic. I don't mind. I really don't mind. Like typically speaking, if this was like a modern pop record, I'd be like, yeah, we got to keep this in line because the vocals are if the vocals are perfectly tuned, the oscillators of the synths are digitally tuned or whatever it may be, or it's like VSTs and then like whatever, then yeah, we gotta fine tune the guitar. But this feels pretty raw, so it's kind of funny. Like the guitars could use a little bit of a setup, like they could be a little bit cleaner, a little bit tuned a little bit more. I actually don't really mind it. It gives it some tension that I don't mind too much.
I take things for granted. Just as
It might be the hats as well. So again, I'm listening for some of like the over compression and clipping that I'm hearing in there. I think it might be happening. So I'm nearly positive that it's the overheads. The direct mics feel pretty powerful. Still a bit overcompressed in my opinion, but they feel really powerful. But when they move to really heavy hits on some of these, some of the other like more transient, slicey elements of the percussion, that's where you start to hear that clipping happening. So bell of the ride cymbal sounds like a big, 22, 24-inch ride, but like the bell of the ride, smash hits on the hi-hats and stuff like that, that's where you're starting to get a little bit of that clipping. So I'm assuming it's happening because of the overheads are getting squashed up here a little bit. Come on.
I take things for granted, just as they fall apart. But if I could just use that to my advantage,
The guitar tone's great. But yeah, vocal structure's awesome.
maybe this wouldn't be so hard.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can even hear on like the kick too. These drums are really squashed. I mean, it's a little bit. No, again, the song's out, so I want to take this into a future record. To some extent. Like the song itself is out, so I don't want to worry too much about that. But it is even like the kick, I'm hearing a little bit too. It's really, really tight. It's really, really compressed. Very, very controlled. So it doesn't breathe. It doesn't really feel as open as I would maybe like it to. But the song itself, I think, is great. Like I said, tonally, vocally, there's a lot of things I really, really like about this. So most of my complaints come from the percussion and actually the engineering side, more so than what y'all are actually doing. I think y'all are, I feel like y'all are doing a lot of the things that you're trying to do right. Yeah, we are closed.
But I've lived in a home half empty.
Little slap delay on the vocal.
Echoes were loud in my room.
There's the bell of the ride. If you listen closely, you'll hear a little bit of that clipping again happening. It almost sounds like in some parts, it almost sounds like some of the and close the line. I don't know what you're talking about. You always swipe through. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, swipe. Just go to the next thing. You can hear when we start moving to like the bell of the ride here on the second verse right here. You'll start to get a little bit of that clipping again. Doesn't happen every time. It depends on like the actual energy behind the hit on the ride cymbal, so on and so on. Almost like the attack is a little bit too fast and the threshold is a little bit too low. That's typically kind of what I'm listening for there. We are scheduled to be remastering the song and the rest of the album recording in July. Okay, nice. So if you have all of the original files, then that's huge. That's huge. That's going to make a huge difference. Beautiful. When was this out? I'm seeing it right now just on YouTube. When did this come out?
Hold on to memories, 'cause it's all I have left of you.
I would also love. And again, take some of the stylistic things that I'll say. Take it with a grain of salt, right? So I'll say some things 9 months ago. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Take it with, and this was your first. I think you said your first time recording in studio. Fantastic, amazing. Y'all are doing a great job. A couple of the things really quick too. What I would love to hear is like in between. I think you have a fairly small band structure right now, perfectly fine. But even on some of the recordings for studio, gosh, these gnats. Some of the recordings in studio, I would love for some of these transitions to even like move to a cleaner guitar. So like from the guitar standpoint, maybe even going, a little heavier. So moving our homie does bass. Okay, beautiful, nice. I love that y'all are able to do everything really tight and really in-house. That's awesome. Let me shift this. Okay, so you have all this in E major, right? So all this, right? You have this all this energy built up going to the E major here. So back here, let me see. Thank you for the shares. I appreciate that. Let me back it up here. So some of these moments here, it could be nice in between the really heavy moments of the guitar where it's doing these walk-ups from like the A, thank you for the follow, to the B, to move into some like cleaner picking of, gives like a little bit more energy in between. Again, I'm thinking of kind of soft focus, shoegaze, really like airy, anthemic records. And one way that you could do that really easily is like actually just using the volume knob and the guitar, depending on if you're like pushing into a tube amp or pushing into a couple pedals, or if you're going direct, you can always figure this out too. You can even automate some stuff if you're going direct, or using pedals, you can flip them on and off. But having like a heavier, like volume all the way up, fully leaned in over these breakdown sections with like really heavy, and then just like running back on the volume a little bit, going into the next section. So some of the breakup is a little bit less, some of the overdrive is a little bit less, but you still have a bunch of like chorus and reverb and delays and stuff like that make it feel really vibrant and really alive, as opposed to a lot of this that's like very dry, and then that guitar is very one tone, so it's all in all the time, every time that it presents itself. Having a little bit of, I think, contrast between some of the different sounds in here, I think would be really interesting as well. As for advice, I think maybe one of your last comments was blocked. I hate when it does that. Super annoying. I think one of your previous comments was blocked, so I wasn't able to see it. I'm going back to look, but I don't think it's there. But I do think that there's some ways that we can create a little bit more like movement in this, so it doesn't. I'm a tattoo dude. Let's go. Oh, that's amazing, phenomenal. That doesn't feel too static. It doesn't feel like too one note or one energy, but it actually, each sound that you have, just like your vocal is great through all of these different registers, and then the power of like moving into a fry scream where it has all of this like really, really beautiful texture to it. I want the same thing from the guitars and the drums as well. Ask them for advice. Okay, I mean, awesome. I love that. I think having some of that variation right there will definitely help on the musical side too, where it's like moving from a little bit cleaner and more open to heavy and hard hitting. Same way your vocal is going from clean to fry. Same way the drums are coming from like low flams to like full out, crash out, right? Like I love that variation, and I think it would be cool to have that in some of the guitar tone as well. Okay, let me get into the last section here, but I think this is awesome. I think, Alexandra, y'all are fantastic. As a band, I feel like, oh no, you're good. Yeah, we're closed. We'll be live again tomorrow afternoon. 2-3 p.m.-ish, something like that. Somewhere around that time. It just depends on my work. But yeah, we'll be live again tomorrow. I appreciate y'all tapping in. But yeah, those a couple little things that I would maybe look at, but I do think that y'all are executing musically in a way that's really enticing. I think you have a lot of great things going for y'all. Ace, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Nasty. Love it.
Can we please play pretend? No.
Luca, thank you for the follow. We are closed, but we'll be live again tomorrow. Yeah, fry screams are great. Because yeah, that dynamic of you going from like beautiful, crazy fry screams to this, can we play pretend? Like really airy falsettos and stuff like that. That's the push and pull and dynamic that I really, really enjoy about this. So that's where I would love to get some of that and some of the other elements. Guitar being kind of all in, but then the drums being so tightly compressed and so squashed that the drums really aren't able to have too much of that because they're so smashed in the mix. And so I think that's one of the things I would love to get out of this is more of the mix on the other elements of the song tied into the mix of your vocal, because I do think your vocal mix on this is really good. Still clean and clear. You still got some nice little slap delays and slap echoes on there, reverb and stuff like that. Your vocal mix to me sounds pretty good, but it's just like making sure that the other elements of the song have that same dynamic, that same openness and vibrancy, but they don't feel too kind of locked in and squashed and suppressed in the mix, but everything feels like it can grow in energy in the same way that your vocal has. That's what I would look for a little bit more on a record like this. But y'all, please show some love. Show some love, show some love. That is Pretend by Interceed. It is out on all platforms. I think this is their first studio record, so please go show it some love. They'll be reworking some things, and I'm so excited for y'all. I think y'all are in a great spot for the amount of experience that y'all actually have on this. So please show some love and support. Go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go follow on Spotify and other DSPs, follow here on social media. Alexandra right here, who is the lead vocalist that you just heard. Y'all are absolutely amazing. Shout out to Interceed. Go check out their stuff. Go check out their stuff. Show some love and support. That is going to close us out, y'all. That is going to get us. It's going to get us out of here today. Quick spiel before we get out of here. For those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I'm a full-time engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done that for the last 14 plus years. If you are ever interested in any of those services, whether that is a lot of what I do is keys and synths. I've been playing since I was 6 years old, classically trained. So I love synths. I got a bunch of them in here. So if you need analog hardware synths, you need keys, you need electric, acoustic, bass guitars, live drums, vocals, whatever it may be. That's a lot of the session work that I do. Or if you need a full-scale producer or mixing and mastering engineer, that's what I do full-time. Shoot me a message on Instagram, here on TikTok. I'll do my best to get to it in a reasonable time. Appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining today. Hopefully we'll see y'all very, very, very soon. I will be live again tomorrow. Peace.